911, what's the emergency? My next door neighbor has been chopped up. Oh my god, he's in his wheelchair. He's been my neighbor for 8 years. What's his name, ma'am? His name is Paul Quant. They're college. We're getting you some help. Just stay on the line. Stay with him. Okay, they're coming to your house as fast as they can. Tell me exactly what happened. He's been banging on my door. He's covered in head with foam. Covered in blood. He's been someone broken into his house. They tied him up. Okay. He is being away home. How many people broke into his house? Paul. Oh my god. A man and a woman. Can you ask him when they left his house? About 30 minutes ago, he thinks. So what did they want? They cleaned his safe out. And they stole his Cadillac. A white Cadillac Eldorado. His single bedroom were attached. Okay. I know. She's been in the ambulance. I'm so sorry.
Paul Quant Sr. was a 78-year-old Navy and Korean War veteran whose life was taken away by the person he'd least expected. Paul had settled in the quaint town of Blues Creek, Florida. What seemed like a safe and quiet place for the veteran to settle down in soon turned out to be one of his worst decisions. On the evening of January 9th, 2012, Paul Quant managed to escape his home and get himself to safety. Virginia Grisson, Quant's neighbor, called 911 to report that her neighbor had been savagely tortured by 2 unnamed assailants. The assailants broke into Quant's home, stealing everything from him and cleaning out his personal safe. Paul was found with significant head trauma, lacerations, and a sizable piece of his forearm had been sawed off by a knife. Police concluded that Quant was caught in the midst of a violent robbery and was tortured for information about any valuable objects in his home. Before losing consciousness, Quant Sr. told Grisson that a young male and female were responsible for the robbery and that they had stolen his white Cadillac Eldorado. Gainesville Police Department Sergeant Stephen Girard was on duty when he spotted the stolen car speeding down the roadway. A car chase ensued, reaching upwards of 100 miles per hour, before the Eldorado crashed into 2 other vehicles. Sergeant Girard arrested 22-year-old Austin Mark Jones, who, upon his arrest, invoked his rights to remain silent. Upon searching the suspect, officers found a stun gun, bloody duct tape, and bloody latex gloves in Jones's possession. Despite having the male suspect in custody, this left officers still on the lookout for the female. Investigators began questioning friends and family of Quant. This led detectives to learning about the caregivers that would see Paul regularly. Each caregiver was required to sign in and out each time they visited his home. Authorities searched through all the names until they found one whose address matched Austin Jones's address: Miranda Martin, Jones's 22-year-old cousin. At the home, investigators found Chad McKee, Miranda's boyfriend. They took him in for a formal questioning.
Can you tell me about Miranda?
Been my girlfriend for about 6 years.
Do you know where she's at right now?
As far as I know, she was at work.
You know a guy by the name of Austin?
He's Miranda's cousin.
He's in jail. Or he's at the hospital. He's fixing to go to jail.
Well, all I can tell you about Austin is that I know that he has been in trouble a few times. But other than that, I don't really know Austin.
When's the last time you heard from Miranda?
It was 2:54 a.m. She told me she was at her work, like when her patient had fell asleep. And that was really, I just told her I was watching a movie.
What time was Miranda supposed to get off work?
She told me 8.
Well, we don't want you caught up in something that you shouldn't be caught up in. Because what we're investigating is a very serious crime. Attempted murder, home invasion, robbery, a lot of bad stuff.
We really had a character for her to do anything like what you're talking about. I mean, I've been with Miranda for 6 years, and she hasn't done anything against the law other than traffic citations.
It's possible she's not involved in this.
No, I know. Like I said,
It's possible our information has led us to her. And when we finally reach her, we'll find that she wasn't at all who we were looking to speak with.
Well, if you will, hang tight, and we're going to meet with the sergeant and make sure he's good with everything.
Listen, dude, I don't know what you told them and all this kind of stuff and everything, but I don't think you're being straight up. I find it hard to believe that she's been your girlfriend for several years, and you don't know anything.
I mean, what are you asking me if I think that my girlfriend?
I think that she asked you about it. She mentioned it in front of you.
I'm just as shocked as you are to find out that you guys are knocking on my door whatever time, asking me if my girlfriend's committed attempted murder. When she had to go to work, is what she told me.
You just talked to her manager. She said she's not working today. Not at all. Why is she lying now about going to work?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Call her, put her on speaker, say, hey, what's up? Are you coming home? What's the plan? And then we'll just go from there, see what happens.
Voicemail.
The mailbox is full and cannot accept.
I don't think she's going to pick up. If Miranda was in trouble, if she couldn't come home to you, what was she?
Her mom,
What's her name?
Kathy Martin.
Kathy Martin lived 45 minutes away from Gainesville in Fort White, Florida. The detectives decided to travel to Miranda's mother's home in order to question Kathy about her daughter's whereabouts. Shockingly, Chad had hit the nail right on the head. Investigators found Miranda hiding out in her mother's home. Both Miranda and Kathy were taken into custody by officers for questioning. Investigators split the mother-daughter duo up, placing them in 2 separate rooms while questioning them at the same time. This gave neither of the women time to create a story or lie to tell to the officers. Investigators' motive behind this was to build a case against one or both of the women based on the inconsistencies in their stories.
Left my apartment. It was around 11, 12, and I went out to my mom's.
Yesterday, between daylight and dark, Austin asked Miranda if he'd give him a ride to his lady friend.
I met up with some chick, and that's the last I seen him.
Gave Austin a ride to work.
It was a parking lot off of, I don't know if it was 13th or 440 White. I just dropped him off and left.
Okay, so you dropped Austin off,
And then left.
then drove back to your mom's.
Yes.
So what time do you think you got to your mom's?
It was like 10.
Okay, so she left around dusk.
Made it in between 10 and 11.
Okay.
But it's, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 6 hours she's gone to just drop him off. Did she say if she went anywhere else after that, or?
Well, I thought she was going to work.
If you can think of anything, I would much rather lay everything on the table. I don't know. Maybe everything that you've told us is what you know. I don't know. But I just like to let people know that from the very beginning.
You were in Fort White at 10 o'clock. I take it that you had your phone with you.
It's clear that Miranda lied to Chad about her whereabouts that day, which in turn clears his name of any wrongdoing. However, by willingly lying to her boyfriend of 6 years, Miranda shows her potentially true nature to the detectives. The detectives believed that Miranda was in Gainesville on Monday, January the 9th, where Paul Quant lived, but Miranda and her mother were sticking firmly with their stories.
Signal was bouncing off a tower towards Gainesville at 11 o'clock. Would that surprise you?
Yeah, it would surprise me.
There is a reason. We want you to be able to explain it now before.
Okay, because I thought my boyfriend was cheating on me, okay? So I drove back just to see if his car was in the parking lot.
You drove by where?
My apartment.
And you got back to Gainesville at what time now?
It was around 1 or 1:30.
And just like that, the investigators got exactly what they wanted. Miranda changed her story, telling the detective that she had gone back to Gainesville to check on her boyfriend, under the suspicion that he was cheating. However, this puts her in Gainesville during the time of Paul's murder. Not only has Miranda lied to her boyfriend and the detectives, but she has her mother vaguely covering her.
Please, be honest.
She spent the night at my house last night. Made it in between 10 and 11. She rented the movie Paul, and we watched that.
Miranda's mother continued to stick with the story, telling the detectives that they were together at home the whole night. It's likely Miranda knew investigators would be on her trail soon, so this is a story she and her mother rehearsed until officers came knocking. Frustrated, the detectives decided to end the interview with Kathy Martin, knowing that they weren't going to be getting any further information from the woman. The truth now laid solely with Miranda, and the detectives knew that if they were going to get to the bottom of this, she would be the key.
What was the reason for bringing him over here? And be honest.
He was supposed to meet with some girl. I dropped him off.
You dropped Austin off just down the road from Paul's house, right? Miranda, be honest with me. You dropped him off just down the road from Paul's house, right?
He was meeting some girl. And that's that. That's honestly it.
Miranda was becoming visibly and audibly frustrated with the detective. When answering the question, her voice raises and she swings her arm around in a non-threatening manner. However, to the investigators, this is a sign of someone becoming anxious and scared. The investigators left Miranda to stew over her thoughts in silence for the next 2 hours. By doing so, Miranda was allowed time to further think things through and realize just how serious of a situation she was in. When the two detectives came back, Miranda confessed to driving Austin Jones to Quant's home to make contact with the elder and not to see a girl. At this point, Miranda and the detectives know that there is no turning back now. The truth is close to being brought into the light.
What was Austin's new plan now?
I guess he just wanted everything.
I haven't seen everything that he's got, so you tell me what everything is. What does he want from Mr. Paul?
I didn't care about what he got or anything. I didn't even want Austin to go in the first place.
But he did go, and you knew he was going there to scare him.
Brendan, did he tell you to wait for him?
I waited for him down the street where there was a house for rent.
Did you ever go in the house just to see what was going on to get him?
Did you try to stop him?
I was only past the doorstep for a little while, and I froze.
Okay.
Miranda covers herself in her hoodie, attempting to make herself seem small and concealed. Many do this as a form of comfort, but for Miranda, it's a coping mechanism. By doing this, she's putting up a psychological barrier between her and the interrogators. If you notice, Miranda curls her legs and feet up, bringing them closer to her body as she answers the questions. She's assuming a defensive position. This is a sign of deception.
You're just standing there, right? Were you in shock? Did you hear Mr. Paul yell for help?
I couldn't hear anything. It was...
Miranda, what was he saying?
It was just, honestly, I just couldn't hear anything.
What time last night did you go over to Mr. Paul's house?
Between 9:30 and 10.
Between 9:30 and 10. And who went?
Austin went first, and then I followed. Austin rang the doorbell, and the next thing you know, he just pushes it open.
Did Mr. Paul see you?
I don't think he had a chance after Austin just pushed him.
Do you follow him into the... you follow Austin in?
Yes, so I was standing at the edge. He's throw that mask at me, put this on.
You threw the mask at you, told you to put it on?
Yes, sir.
What color was the mask?
It was a red Elmo.
He had a PIN number? Okay, so he got Mr. Paul's PIN number?
For the safe.
Okay. So did Austin tie him up?
Yes.
Was he begging for his life?
He just kept saying, I'll give you everything you want. Please stop. Oh, that hurt.
And what was Austin hitting him with?
It looked like his fist.
His fist? And did you see Mr. Paul bleeding? Yes? Okay.
Miranda is holding back. She stops verbally confirming the detective's answers and instead answers with the nod of her head. She's becoming overwhelmed with the reality of her situation. She believes that if she verbally confirms their questions, it'll become all too real.
I didn't know if Austin was about to do something to me next.
Okay. You know that Austin's hitting him, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you're saying Austin's collecting everything in the house to take it. So what did Austin take?
I seen it with a box of stuff.
A box of stuff.
I don't know what all was in the box.
Any chance that maybe you collect anything in the house? Did you take anything?
Austin just kept telling me, take it.
And where did you put that stuff?
In the trunk of his car.
Did you drive the Cadillac out of the garage?
Yes, he made me drive to the bank.
You guys drove to the bank to use a debit card at the banks?
Yes.
What bank did you go to?
Capital something.
Did you go to an ATM machine? Can we get some video from that ATM? Is it going to be you?
Yes.
Her words are soft and strangled, full of emotion. She understands what she did wrong and that her actions will have real consequences now.
What are you feeling right now, Miranda?
I'm the worst person in the whole entire world, and I let something bad happen to somebody that didn't deserve it, and I should have stopped it.
Despite her attempts to make herself seem like another victim during the whole ordeal, it was obvious to the detectives that she was involved in the crime just as much as her cousin Austin was, and she was equally guilty. This was proven true when investigators searched the car, where they found her journal. Its contents highlighted the dark and malevolent nature of Miranda Martin. Miranda was not the manipulated, but instead the manipulator. Her journal entry broke down the facade she had put up of the scared girl who was being controlled and manipulated by her cousin. The investigators believe Miranda to have been the mastermind behind the crime, and Austin Jones was merely the muscle behind it. Paul Quant was taken off of life support, where he then succumbed to his injuries at Shands at the University of Florida, surrounded by friends and family. Austin Jones and Miranda Martin were both charged with and convicted of first-degree murder. They are both currently serving out life sentences.